Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I got a post here by the Hedera Foundation, and I think you're going to want to hear this. So they say, through Sigma, and it's C Sigma, but I'm assuming the C is silent here. So through Sigma Finance, yields in the Hedera DeFi ecosystem are now tied to real world economic activity. With $80 million plus in fully collateralized, legally enforceable debt obligations, the team is bringing real economic value to the network. Traditionally, if a specialized credit fund wants to lend logistics companies, they face a mountain of operational friction, setting up SPVs, managing legal compliance across jurisdictions, and manually reconciling payments. Sigma solves this by providing the merchant experience for asset originators. 1. Tokenization standards, converting legal claims into digital assets. 2. Compliance rails, automated KYB/KYC plus whitelisting. 3. Liquidity management, connecting to stablecoin pools seamlessly. Through this, Sigma can then provide a yield to users that is simply the market rate for specific types of working capital. Consider a mid-market logistics company waiting 90 days for a payment from a major retailer like Walmart. They have the contract, but they need the cash today to buy fuel and pay drivers. In the traditional banking world, accessing this short-term liquidity is incredibly slow and inefficient. These businesses are often willing to pay 24 to 36% APR for immediate capital because the opportunity cost of not having that cash is even higher. Sigma captures this real-world economic value often generated from invoices, purchase orders, and bridge loans and passes it through to stablecoin holders. And then just at the end, you've got Sigma actually put in a post underneath it, and they said, the Shopify of institutional asset tokenization on Hedera. Amazing stuff, guys, amazing stuff. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of what Shopify is, but if you're not, I'll just quickly show you this. So Shopify, your commerce platform to sell online and in person. The one commerce platform behind it all, sell online and in person, sell locally and globally, sell direct and wholesale, sell on desktop and mobile. Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff here, guys. And so, you know, I was doing a video and I think it was Hedera that I was covering. It might have been XRP, but I can't remember for sure. But I was just basically talking about how when it's coming to this level of adoption now, this like, you know, mass adoption that we're getting, there are going to be some people who don't like some of these things that are coming forward, right? Why? Well, it's actually going to affect certain companies' bottom line, right? So, for example, banks. In this instance, where banks could, you know, basically pay out a loan at a huge APR, well, with crypto, they're no longer going to need to do that, right? And so this is where banks getting money through this type of service that they would provide, it's not really going to be as, you know, fruitful for them as we start to get into the mass adoption phase of this crypto technology. And so what this is going to mean is, you know, if you can take out that loan from being 24 to 36%, and let's just say you can knock it down to like 5%, 10%, whatever, you're going to do that, right? You of course are going to do that. You're going to go with the cheaper option. Now, I do think obviously it will be as more crypto gets more tested and proven, because there are going to be people who will have their doubts and stuff like that. You know, do they still feel that crypto is a secure technology to use? Some people still call it magic internet money. There's still that behind that they don't understand that crypto is here to stay and actually is use cases and, you know, things that these crypto technologies can provide that can actually help better the world and industries. And so it will get there eventually. And as it does, people are going to use it, right? Like we can see, for example, just tokenization as a whole is gradually increasing now, right? And it's been said before by leemon baird, everything of value will be tokenized, which I think is absolutely correct. And King Solomon is someone who, you know, he's in the crypto space. He's an influencer, very big one and a very good one at that, I will just add. And he's someone who, you know, speaks to, you know, people in finance and stuff like that, because he's got a company, Genfinity. They do a lot of interviews and stuff like that with people in the crypto scene, etc., etc. And, he spoke to someone who was in the finance sector, and he said, look, behind the scenes, we're all aware that everything's going on chain. Like, we can see it's happening and we're accepting that. So this is what I mean. Like, it is going to happen. And so when you've got this type of use case, I think this is huge. I think this is absolutely huge, because this is the kind of stuff that, again, people are going to deem this useful, right? Like, who's going to want to keep paying these extortionate fees to wait for money when you could just do this directly through Hedera, through this Sigma new product, and get the money instantly? It's also saying KYB and KYC enabled with whitelist features. So that means know your business and know your customer. I've told you guys before, that is absolutely huge. When it comes down to like companies, banks, etc., they have to follow these rules. That's just a matter of law. It's not a matter of choice. So that's something that's going to be absolutely huge that they're going to need in place. It also means they can control who is using, using the service for them, because that's basically the problem, right? Because Hedera, the network itself, is a open, decentralized network. Anybody can use it. But the concern for the companies are, well, how do we know if a terrorist is using it, for example, right? And if a terrorist is using it, these are most likely going to be sanctioned individuals. And so if a company does do work with a terrorist, whether they know it or not, if they get caught by, for example, OFAC, so that's basically America's sanctioning governing body, if they was to basically catch them, they'll get fined. Right, they'll get fined. So this is where this is a big thing. Like, it is something that, the companies have to try and have in place, like controls in place to mitigate that type of thing. So knowing that that's something that's inherently there, again, that's going to be a huge positive for these companies. And again, it's like accessible money, right? Like, it's just taking away this thing of having to wait days upon days, or having to take out these loans to try and get the capital available as soon as possible. You're not going to need to do that with crypto anymore. Like, we're past that now. This is what this technology is now enabling. You can get the money pretty much instantly. And so, long term, who's not going to adopt this technology? Who's not going to go for that? When you're talking about these big companies, who have to take out these loans. Like, it's just a no-brainer, guys. So this is going to be something that will be big. I have no doubt in my mind that there probably will be like competition further down the road. So it probably won't just be Sigma who are doing this. Could be other companies that come along too. But again, this is where first mover advantage can have its place, right? If Sigma are already ahead of the curve, they're already going to be onboarding new clients from the get-go. They can see that Hedera works. They can see that this technology works. So they will say, well, I've been using this for, X amount of months or years now, ahead of whenever competitors come out. They can say, we've been doing this successfully for however long already, and it's already working. So that will give them an advantage straight away. Do you know what I mean? So this is where first mover advantage does play a part in this. Absolutely. And I think they'll stand to benefit from this greatly. So yeah, the Shopify of institutional asset tokenization. How does that sound, guys? To me, it sounds absolutely incredible. As I said before, this is where we're going. This is just a sign of more things to come. To be honest with you, there's going to be way more stuff that's going to be coming from this as well. And this is why I've been telling you guys how big of a deal tokenization is, because this is all possible through tokenization. So I've been saying this for like pretty much the beginning of my channel. Like, tokenization is one of the things that you really want to look out for, because that's one of the main use cases for crypto technology. Tokenizing things and then being able to utilize that tokenization for different things like cross-border payments. Here, Shopify of institutional asset tokenization, real estate, tokenizing real estate, fractionalized ownership, diamonds, all these types of things. Tokenizing the stock market, making it more accessible 24/7, instant finality, settlement, etc. These are the things that tokenization is bringing to the table. So this is going to be one of the biggest use cases that will come out of crypto technology. So yeah, really big thing here, really big deal. I'll definitely keep an eye on this. As I said, for me, I don't see why this wouldn't be successful. Like, why a company's going to be like, no thanks, we'll just stick to paying these ridiculous APR fees that the banks charge so we can get the money through them. Why are they going to do that? Like, at the moment, I get it. You might say, well, why haven't they jumped on it just yet? It's just because we haven't got regulations and things. And, crypto is still new. This is what you understand. People are still wary. That's why when you see a lot of these things that I'm covering, you do hear that these are like pilots and stuff like that, because they are still testing it out. And that's fair enough. Like when you're thinking about changing over to something that's going to like change industries and stuff, like, yes, you're going to want to test it first to make sure that there's no chinks in the armor, to make sure there's no flaws, right? No bugs in the code, etc. Nothing that could affect the network, bring it down, etc. So we're talking about big things here. Like if everything is going on chain, that's a massive deal. Like don't underestimate what type of task that is. But I do think eventually it will happen. Over time, it's going to gradually happen. Like if you think again, the internet is always one of the things that I use so much, but it's because it's one of the best examples I can use. There was a time where the internet was just something that you would use here and there. If we was to lose the internet now, like if the internet was just to go down globally, that would just mess up the world. Like not only just people who are just climbing up the walls because, you know, they can't just go on like Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever, but also like industries that are reliant on the internet, right? Their business models are all based online. So like there's huge things at stake here. So you've got to understand when it comes to like crypto being in this kind of position, yes, it's going to take time for it to get completely embedded, you know, within the finance industries sectors and all these other sectors that it can change. It's going to happen over time. It's going to be a gradual thing, but I do believe it's going to happen. And for me, in my opinion, I think Hedera will be one of the networks that is successful long term. I think it's going to be one of the networks that is here to stay long term. So this is just evidence of it to me personally. Obviously, I can't say for sure what's going to happen, but I'm pretty confident from the research that I've done and the things that I see going on. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that just gives me more confidence in that vision. So I'll keep you guys updated if I see anything more, but for that, share this with you. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.